Hello and welcome to this new section. Super excited to have you on board because today we're talking about clustering, which is going to be our very first encounter with unsupervised machine learning. So let's have a look. Clustering can be defined as grouping unlabeled data. What does that mean? Well, so far in this course, we've been working with supervised learning types of algorithms, which include regression and classification. And the way supervised learning algorithms work is that you already have some training data and an answer and answers in that training data that you supply to the model. So for example, in the case of classification, you have input data, which could be images of apples, and you have annotations explaining that these are apples or labels for these apples. And then you supply that to the model. You ask the model to learn from this data with answers. And then you can supply a new image and ask, what is this? And it will provide the answer saying that this is an apple. Now, unsupervised learning is different. Here we don't have answers and the model has to think for itself. So for example, we might have input data with all these images without any labels, supply them to the model and ask them to group these fruits into different categories, even though we don't know the categories or we don't supply the categories. So the machine has no understanding which is an apple, which is a banana, and so on. It can just see that there are certain similarities in the data, certain differences in the data, and from that, it can make conclusions and create its own groups. And this is all the while it doesn't understand what it is looking at, doesn't understand the term apple or banana. So that is the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. In a nutshell, in supervised learning, you give the model an opportunity to train where it has the answers. In unsupervised learning, you don't have the answers to supply to the model. So let's look at an example of this in a business sense. Here we have an XY axis with annual income of your customers, of a store, for example, and the spending score. So how often do they spend? How much do they buy? All these, their spending patterns, all of this is combined already into a spending score. So when you plot your customers, it might look like this, and you don't have any pre-existing categories. You don't have any pre-existing classes or groups of customers to group them into. You want to create those groups. So that's where you would apply clustering. And by applying clustering, it would show you that these are probably likely groups of customers. And then you could go into this further, dig deeper and understand why these groups might be emerging, what this might mean in a business sense, in a spending sense, in a customer sense, understand how to best service these customers, to what kind of promotions to send to one group versus the other, what kind of reminders or what kind of offers to create for these different customers, and how to best use this information in your business. So that's clustering. As you can see, it's very different to what we've discussed before. It's a very interesting and exciting area of machine learning where the model gets to think for itself and come up with suggestions and interesting ideas. I look forward to exploring clustering further with you in this section. And until next time, enjoy machine learning.